My Ordeal with the Qur'an and God in the Qur'an is an English translation of a book originally written in Arabic by Dr. Abbas Abdul Noor, born in Damanhur, Egypt in 1927. A graduate of Al-Azhar University with a doctorate in philosophy, Dr. Noor was a preacher, imam, and head of a Sufi lodge in Egypt. Over time, Dr. Noor began to have doubts about his faith, which led him to endless questions about the Qur'an, and ultimately to the conclusion that revelation is the product of the human mind rather than the mind of God. As a consequence of its human origin, revelation must be subject to human reason and not the other way around. There are very few books by Muslims that analyze the Qur'an in a truly critical way, and even fewer in Arabic by Arabs. This book is important because it breaks that ground and removes that barrier. The following are quotes from the author's introduction. This book is an emphatic and unambiguous call for a rereading of the Qur'an. It is a call to break the shackles and chains that have distorted our thinking, that have become a source of backwardness and ruin. It is a fresh look at the Quranic text along with criticism and analysis of its verses in an attempt to lift the veils that obscure our vision, nay, that have blinded us, that have paralyzed our ability to think freely. The Quranic text has become our holy cow. There is no difference between those who worship statues and those who worship the text. We approach it on our knees, prostrating before it, trembling and terrified. We fear the lion's roar that wards off all those who dare peek inside. I want us to storm this lion's lair that guards the text of the Qur'an. We must apply the methodology of reason. We must reconsider the distinction that we have created between the sacred and the profane. The Qur'an must be placed back into the fallible human realm where it belongs. Achieving such a transformation will be difficult, but every journey begins with one step, and the benefits will be enormous. For we will finally end the tragedy of our situation, heal the schisms that have torn us apart, reconcile the differences between us and our fellow man, regardless of faith or the lack of it. Start building a new and better identity and society in our countries, one that will allow us to once again contribute positively to the course of human history. For identity is not something that simply corresponds to a past glory formed at one moment in history and then remaining like that forever. It is an ongoing process of constant reinvention. We must be courageous and face the facts regardless of fear, apprehension, and unease. We cannot remain imprisoned in this dark, cramped room while the world around us marches on. We must throw open the curtains and go out into the light, rediscover the spirit of dynamism and enterprise that we once had before we retreated to this time capsule and locked the doors. The book that's in front of you requires you to suffer some pain, and that you persevere in reflecting and introspection. It will strain your nerves, frighten and anger you. It will trigger instinctive defense mechanisms. But I have not written this other than with a good intention, longing for us to be better. Ultimately, it is up to you, the reader, to judge and think for yourself.